In a way, it's kind of hard to know what to think about Kat Dennings, since she's an intelligent woman that graduated high school at the age of 14, and she's a very funny actress that can also do drama when called upon for such a role. But for some reason she seems a bit underrated at times, given that she's usually such a respectable addition to most movies. In many ways it does seem that she can take the lead role in anything she does, but she's often relegated to a supporting part or that of an extra when it's warranted. If anything, the 34-year-old really needs to be given a role that she can excel at and that she can claim as her own in a big blockbuster movie to see if she actually does have the acting chops that some think, or if she's better off being a supporting character that is perfectly fine with the roles she receives. Here are the 5 best movies of her career. Number 5. The House Bunny.
So this is how we're gonna get pledges? Hiring an archaically superficial reflection of the male fantasy?
It's hard to think of anyone 27 being considered too old for anything other than high school, but in this hilarious movie, playmate Shelley comes to find out that she has to move out of the Playboy mansion when she's become too old and needs to be pushed aside for younger talent. In doing so, however, she finds that she's not that well equipped for life on the outside. When she chances upon a sorority that's basically the least popular bunch within their school, she takes it upon herself to discover a new image for them and in the process to learn more about the world she lives in, making it a hilarious win-win for everyone. Number 4. Daydream Nation.
Candygram!
After watching the trailer, you can just imagine that this is one big ball of drama that seems to spin out in a few different directions, with the central figure being Carolyn. Her life is a bit complicated as she's having relations with one of her teachers, but is also being pursued by one of her fellow students. As the movie wears on, it's hard to think of why she would continue with the teacher when she finally tells him it's over and declares her love for the guy that's been trying to gain her attention. The life of a teenager is a confusing thing at times, as a lot of us know, but when the drama is tacked on in such a big way, it only seems to get worse. Number 3. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Hi. I know this is gonna sound weird and I'm a total stranger, but would you be my boyfriend for 5 minutes?
What?
Nick definitely sounds like the kind of guy that's going to pine for the girlfriend that dumped him until he either wakes up and realizes there are other people out there, or until someone just happens to come along and land in his life, like Nora. The two do manage to hook up on pure chance, since Nora needs someone at that moment to pretend that they're her boyfriend to avoid public embarrassment, while Nick just needs someone that's not going to manipulate him in a big way. In the end, Nick almost ends up going back to the woman that broke his heart as she tries to seduce him, but thankfully he understands that he and Nora have much more in common. Number 2. Thor.
Whoa, does he need CPR? Because I totally know CPR.
Where did he come from?
Despite the fact that she's more of a supporting character in this movie, Darcy is for the most part kind of funny, since she does manage to take down a weakened Thor with a stun gun of all things. A lot of people tend to think that Thor was way underpowered for this movie, and they could be right, since the transition from the comics to the movies has been kind of a letdown at times, despite the impressive effects that have been seen as a result. With that being said, though, Thor was one of the better introductory movies of the MCU, and it's going to be hard to let this character go, even if Jane Foster is coming back to take up the mantle. Number 1. The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
I'm gonna hit.
It's not as hard as people think, no pun intended, to remain a virgin until you're 40, but it's not bound to be easy either, since sexual urges are pretty normal, and they tend to get stronger after a while, especially when people begin to notice the world around them and who's in it. For Andy, though, it's kind of a nightmare, since he remains celibate for a reason after striking out with a few girls and finding that he just wasn't ready to commit to the whole act of sex yet again. When he meets Trish, though, that starts to change, and the fear that she won't like him because he's not sexually competent become a laugh riot that doesn't end until the credits start to roll. Kat is worth a lot more than she's been given to do at this point, but hopefully she'll be given a little more as time goes on.